Thank you very much for the opportunity to share words of Torah. Le'ilei Nishmas Avi Mori, Aaron Shaul Ben Shema. I'll try to share Torah relevant to the time of year in which we're in, as well as one that at least reminds me in many ways of my father. Pesach is about Yetzias Mitzrayim. During Pesach, we celebrate what is undoubtedly a foundational event for our people and hopefully for us as individuals, the fact that we were able to be Zocha, to be taken out of Mitzrayim. Yet we know, and Sfiras Omer comes to remind us that special as it was to leave Mitzrayim, the ultimate goal was not just to not be in Egypt anymore. That was not our ultimate destination. We were building and trying to move in a particular direction. We were trying to, in Sfiras Omer, we're reminded of the fact that we're trying to learn and to get to the point where we're ready to be Mekabel Torah on Shavuos. We leave Mitzrayim to be Mekabel Torah. We also leave Mitzrayim to make it to Eretz Yisrael, to have a Mishkan and then to have a Mikdash there in Yerushalayim. But what exactly are we striving for? What kind of Torah and what kind of Mikdash are we hoping to get now that we finally left Mitzrayim? The Gemara Basra tells us that in the Aron, in the center of the Mikdash, the Aron was that part of the Mikdash which the Soloveitchik explained, gave the Mikdash in many ways its Kedusha, its real holiness. So the Gemara Basra tells that in the Mikdash there were luchos inside the Aron, that most important and holy kli in the Aron, that inside that Aron were luchos and were shivrei luchos. And on top of the Aron, on top of those luchos, those shivrei luchos, which give the Mikdash its Kedusha, were the kruvim. On top was a kapores, a cover with kruvim, which Rashi explains were images of children on top of the Aron. What is the significance of that imagery of children on top of the Aron? What does it tell us about Torah? What does it tell us about Mikdash? What does it tell us about where we're trying to go following Yetzias Mitzrayim? The world of the Aron is the world of serious Talmud Torah. It's a world in which we embrace the fact that we got a Torah at Har Sinai. It's one which focuses on the nitty-gritty of halacha and the rigor and the reality of a Torah in which we strive to do our best, and sometimes, shivrei luchos, we aren't always successful. And there are people, it can highlight a certain kind of very serious and intense focus when it comes to Talmud Torah. But on top of the Aron are kruvim, and on top of the Aron are images of children, to remind us that the ultimate goal of Torah isn't to always just be so serious and so intense. That wasn't why we left Mitzrayim, just for that Torah. It was a kind of Torah which was supposed to infuse us with a childlike sense of excitement, a childlike sense of curiosity, a sweetness and a thirst for learning and a thirst for Torah, which children have in the most beautiful way possible. It's one thing to be Mekabel Torah when we leave Mitzrayim. It's another thing to be Mekabel Torah and to allow that to infuse us with an excitement, with a focus, with a simplicity, with a certain kind of vibrancy which children really remind us of. I think about that a lot in Sfiras Omer, being able to focus really intensely in learning, but not to be so serious that I burn other people, to have that luchos and shivrei luchos there, but to have a certain passion and excitement for Torah, which is so beautiful and so great. I feel blessed I've had that in my life as a role model of my father, who was so serious about learning, but always with a smile and always with curiosity and always with excitement. And I hope for all of us, as we leave Mitzrayim, we can internalize certain lessons about the seriousness of Torah and to be able to focus on a Torah which reminds us of how beautiful it is to have children on top, to be able to be excited, to be able to be happy, to be able to smile with a childlike simplicity and an excitement and a beauty which can be there. Have a wonderful day.